Hi, I'm Eric from DeHaven Camera, and today we're going to go over the setup and use of our PD1 Portable Dolly. This is a small, fairly lightweight dolly that can be transported either in our shipping case or folded up and put into a car or a medium-sized vehicle. It runs around 200 pounds and requires 2 people to carry it. So first we're going to take it out of the shipping case. If you come down, take off the front and reach in, there's 2 handles. When the dolly's put away correctly with its back facing into the case, you'll pull out the 2 handles and there's 2 small wheels on the very back of the dolly which you'll rest it on. You're going to put the front wheels down, and then by pushing down on the boom, we're going to lift up on the boom arm, leverage it out and put it down on the ground. So that's how to pull it out. The 2 small wheels are back here on the back of the dolly. To put it back in, we would do the reverse of the same thing with the back of the dolly facing into the case. We're going to lift it up, slide it in, and then with the 2 handles, put it back into the case. Now, to set the dolly up, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to start with pulling the wheels out, and then we'll move to the boom and the push bars. So the first thing is we have our 4 wheels. In the travel position, the wheels are turned inward on their arms. So to take those out, we're going to reach down under here, and there's a small ring. So we're going to reach down here and turn the ring 45 degrees, and then we're going to rotate the arm out to about a 9 o'clock, or for the back, about a 4:30 position. We're going to turn the ring back, and you'll hear the arm snap into place. Now, the arm can be positioned in a lot of different ways, either to fit standard gauge track, narrow track. We can bring it all the way underneath the dolly to get through narrow doorways. But in general, if you're not using track, it's good to have it at an angle, like I said, right around the sort of 9 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock positions for stability. If you have it really narrow, there is the possibility the dolly could tip over, and really should only be used for doorway situations. We're going to take this little knob with the red dot, and we're going to lift it up and turn it inward. That allows the wheels to rotate freely. Now, if we want to lock the wheels in position, we turn the red dot back facing outward, and the wheels will lock in and then won't steer. What I like to do is lock the front wheels and leave the rear ones free pivoting. That allows you to rotate the dolly like normal with a push bar. So for the rear, we're going to leave these unlocked. They're going to free pivot, and we're going to come up to the front wheel. So the same thing, we're going to pull the ring down. We're going to rotate the arm out, put the ring back in position, and move till it locks. And then here, we're going to face the wheels forward and then lock them again by putting the red dot facing outward. So we're going to repeat the process on the other side, taking care to put the wheels, the arms for the wheels in the same position, and taking care to make sure that the wheels are facing all the same direction. So we're going to move the rear wheel out here until it locks, and we're going to make that one free pivot. So now we can move the dolly around quite easily. So the next thing we're going to do is put in the push bar. The push bar is the large silver handle, and it's going to slide into the 2 holes at the back of the dolly, making sure that you loosen the little black thumb screws at the back of the dolly so that it slides in easily. Next, you're going to tighten the silver thumb screw on the top, and then retighten the 2 screws at the bottom here. That secures the push bar and allows the dolly to be pushed around easily. Now the next step is the boom. So this dolly operates a lot like a jib arm. So it's a counterbalance system with hydraulic assist. So finding a good counterbalance for the weight that you put on it is very important. You have a couple of functions you have to think about. You have the brake. This brake operates like a handbrake on a bicycle, except for reversed. So when you're pushed down on the brake, it releases the boom and allows it to free move. When you let go of the brake, it locks the boom and holds the boom in place. Now, it's very important that when we're not using the brake, if we want it to be free, that we either lock the brake into position with this small silver screw, or we're holding it down as we move it. If we move the boom with the brake in the locked position, it's going to wear heavily on the brake pads, make a loud squeaking noise, and can cause damage to the braking system. So the first thing we're going to do is push down on the boom and flip up the yellow lever. The boom's now going to want to rise up. Now, if it's under a lot of tension from the counterweight during storage, the boom might rise quickly. So be sure that you have enough pressure to keep the boom safely rising so you don't injure yourself. So now once it's free, we'll notice that in this position right now, it's got a little more tension, so it's wanting to rise on its own. So this is where the brake would come in handy, is we can push down on the brake, unlock this silver screw again, and now the boom is braked and not moving. Now if we want to move the boom, we're going to push down on the brake, move it, and let go, and that locks the boom again. So finding the balance point is very important, as I mentioned, and that's going to be done with the handle, with the rotating handle on the back of the dolly. So if we come around to the back side here, we're going to see this rotating wheel, and you're going to increase the counterbalance weight by going clockwise or decrease the counterbalance weight by going counterclockwise. So right now the boom needs a little less weight because it's going up by itself, so we're going to decrease. I like to push the boom down to reduce tension on the wheel so it's easier to turn the wheel, and we can decrease it a few turns. And now the boom should be counterbalanced and want to stay in any position even with the brake off. Just like a jib arm, that's a counterbalanced boom. So now that the boom is balanced, we can put the brake back on and we can add the additional accessories. So now that it's braked, we can see on the top here, we have a mini Mitchell plate on a leveler. This leveler works by releasing or loosening the four sides, finding level, and then tightening them again to the level position. It's a standard leveler like found on most dollies. Now you have a few accessories that come with this. This is your 12-inch riser plate. Has a big screw in the center of it. So to install this, we're going to take the big screw out. And we're going to install the riser plate with the index on the Mitchell so that it seats firmly. So we're going to take the large screw and come in from underneath and tighten the riser down. Once that's tight, we can then add our bowl. It comes with 75 millimeter, 100 millimeter mini Mitchell, or under special request, we can add a full-size Mitchell plate. Now, just keeping in mind that the max payload for this dolly is about 60-some pounds, so very heavy heads with large cameras may overweight the boom. So the 100 millimeter bowl can fit right on the top, again indexing on the mini Mitchell. Your bowl for your fluid head can go on, and then we tighten it down underneath with the standard tie down. So this can be used with or without the riser. We generally ask that it not be used with large sliders because the torque on the boom can be a little bit too much. So we can do small sliders, but ask about that before you try to add that on. So the next thing we're going to add is a seat post. The seat post will be in your case in the front. It folds out, and this can be installed on either side of the dolly into the round holes in the mid-center of the sideboards. It can be raised or lowered with the thumb screw. And then the seat itself has a small baby pin which goes into the receiver and can be slid in or out as needed for comfort. Now the last part would be the sideboards. The sideboards have two push buttons on them right here, and to install those, we're going to push them in and slide them into the two holes on either side of the dolly. Once those are installed and locked, that's your basic setup of the PD1 dolly. Now, again, if we're going to use this with standard gauge track, Matthews track, we can adjust the wheels slightly to fit on the track. And on the inside of each wheels, we have dolly track wheels built in. Please make sure when you're using dolly track that we only use dry lubricants like baby powder, talc, or graphite. Wet lubricants like WD-40, grease, or oil can damage the plastic wheels and can pick up dirt, which can cause damage to the bearings. So only dry lubricants on your tracks. Now, to pack the dolly, it's quite easy. We're just going to repeat the entire process that we just did. If you slide out your upper tray, there's packing areas for all the pieces. So we'll put the seat in. We're going to take the riser out for the seat. We're going to take the 12-inch riser off by loosening the large bolt. and then stowing the bolt on the inside with a couple threads. That way it doesn't get lost. We're going to take the bowl mount off, and all the items can then slide into the top of your case here. We'll take the sideboards off. Come around and take the other sideboard off. Now this can slide back into the case. And now to bring the boom down. So we're going to push in the lock, bring the boom all the way down. Now if we do remove the brake, this can be removed with these two small black screws and can be put on any of your boom, your pan bars or the push bar here. When we put it back on, make sure to put it out of the way of the yellow handle so that you can safely lock the boom. And then we usually ask that the brake be left in the unlocked position, that way it can be safely raised up. So after that's done, we're going to take the push bar off by loosening the two black screws again and then loosening the center bolt. That comes off. We'll put the push bar and the seat post in after we put in the dolly. So reversing our process again, we're going to turn the wheels facing inward till they lock. We're going to pull the ring down and move the wheels into the stowed position. Same thing with our front wheels till it locks. Pull the ring down and move the wheels into the stowed position. We'll come around to the other side and repeat the process. Now the wheels can be put in many different positions, so make sure that you have them put facing straight forward or straight backwards, tucked in. And you'll hear that nice satisfying lock when the wheel fits into position. So as we showed you earlier in the video, we're going to line this up with the case, roll it backwards, and with the small wheels on the back, we're going to push down and lift up, resting the small wheels on the back of the case, and then lift the dolly up and slide it into the case. We'll take the seat post, put it underneath the dolly, and we'll slide the pan bar in, again, putting it in neatly and safely. Then we can put the front of the case on and bring the dolly back. So that's the use of our PD1 Portable Dolly. It's available for rental by day, by week, or by month at DeHavenCamera.com.